Kilowatt 4, Japan, Portugal, in Venice, Florida, over.
Yes, Kilowatt 4, Juliet Papa. What's the name, sir?
Yeah, Jim, my name is Eddie. Echo, Delta, Delta, India, Echo. I'm down here in South Florida, running a FLEX-6400 M as in Mary, driving a 8410 amplifier, and the antenna's a Mosley Pro 67B Aggie. It's up 55 feet on a crank-up tower, and I'm sitting right here on the beach. Wonder how my audio sounds up there just north of, what did you say, Louisville, I believe it was, over?
Yes, sir, and I am moving around here. I'm monitoring 4 SDRs, monitoring Rochester, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Alexandria, Virginia, and Milford, PA. And I did move down to the Atlanta SDR, and you're doing about 15 over in Atlanta. Roger, Roger.
Hello, Roger, Roger. Roger, well, you're about 15 over down here in Venice, Florida. I wonder how the audio sounds up there to you, over.
Nice audio, nice audio. It doesn't have a lot of bottom end, but then I don't usually like a lot of bottom. Using the mids and the upper to add definition to your audio is always a good idea, because there's a lot of things that can happen to your signal along the way. You start out with a nice signal, and Mother Nature says, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm only going to reflect a portion of your signal right off, and then a little bit more of your signal just a little bit later. So what happens is one comes down and the other comes down slightly out of phase, and it starts to cancel your audio, and it starts to cancel from the top frequencies down. So that's why you need to have a nice bright signal, because sometimes you will lose a lot in the translation, courtesy of Mother Nature. Roger, Roger.
Of Mother Nature. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Jim. Yep, I understand that. Well, I just went through the setup on this thing here, let's see, this last week on Monday, and I was wanting to check and see what it sounded like on your end. I know what it sounds like on this end, and I've checked the sensitivity and everything with my service monitor, and the receive end is fine, but the transmit end, I like to know what it sounds like a distance away, so you're a good opportunity to check and let me know, over.
Roger, Roger, Eddie. Well, I might double check on a couple of things. We do recommend running that compressor at about a 3. It's a token amount, but it is the beginning of the fattening process. So about a 3 on the compressor would be the beginning of our fattening process, Roger.
Of our fattening process, Roger.
Yeah, my processor is, our compressor is sitting on about 2.5, so I can bring it up half of another notch, no problem at all, and that might improve it a little bit. I just didn't want to hit it too hard. I'm using a Heil 781 mic going into the transceiver, and it seems to be a pretty good match from what I'm seeing, over. Hello?
Roger, Roger. Yeah, we're just recommending about a third of the possibilities of the compressor, so 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, about a third of the possibilities on the compressor. Then we would move to the ALC. If you brought your ALC meter up, and with your hand on the mic gain and just speaking in your normal radio voice, adjust your ALC to where it's reading mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC by adjusting your mic gain control.
Mic gain control.
Okay, very fine. Yeah, I've done that. I'm sitting just a little bit past the half, so I'm not up to 2/3, but I can move that up. I'll do that when we finish here and get another report. But, yeah, I can do that. That'd be easy. I'll put that down here as step 2, over.
Roger, Roger, because that is what you're looking at on your ALC meter is the output from your limiter. And what you're doing there is that is where your crunch is happening, because what you want to do, unprocessed audio is about 10 dB dynamic range. Dynamic range is the difference between the loudest and the softest portions of your speech pattern. So, like when you're not processing at all, your dynamic range is about 10 dB. So what we want to do is to pull that dynamic range from 10 dB to about 3 dB. And we do that through lightly using the compressor and running your ALC between mid-scale and 2/3. And that will bring you usually up to 80 to 85% of average peak modulation, Roger.
Modulation, Roger.
Roger, Jim. Yeah, thank you for the suggestion, and I'll crank that thing up a little bit while watching it and watching the ALC and making sure I don't hit it. I usually run the ALC to where it just starts flickering, and don't hit it any harder because I don't want to overdrive and start splattering over.
Yeah, no, you want to stay out of the red. You know, you don't want to be in the red. Like I say, just run it between mid-scale and 2/3. And the other thing would be your audio EQ. Now, I seldom suggest doing anything on the bottom end, you know, because of mud. But I think in your situation, I would give you two suggestions on your EQ. The first would be to adjust your bottom end bass EQ up one click boost on your bass EQ from wherever you are at the moment, and then I would go ahead and add two clicks boost on the treble. That would help your top end. So right now you're kind of a little mid-rangey, so we just want to add just one click on the bottom end and 2 clicks on the top end to try to expand your audio just a little bit. Roger?
Just a little bit, Roger.
Roger, I could do that, Jim, no problem at all. See, I have an equalizer in here, and I can adjust the different frequency ranges also. But I'll adjust the bottom end 1 click up and the treble 2 clicks, and see how that works here after we finish up. Over.
Roger, and if you get a chance, give me a shout back, and we'll see what's happening. Roger.
See what's happening, Roger.
Will do, Jim. Listen, thank you very much for the info. You and the family have a big turkey day coming up, and appreciate the help. And season's greetings from down here in South Florida. KC9VKV from K4JP in Venice, Florida. A very good evening.
Roger, Eddie 3's that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by, and like I say, you know, you make those changes on your EQ and give me a shout back, and we'll compare notes. 3's for now. This is KC9VKV and the Qso-Vlog network for Friday afternoon. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for one specific Qso-Vlog entitled My Group Air Check 11/8/19. Today's date, My Group Air Check 11/8/19. This is KC9VKV listening.